Okay, so this cool looking cone right here is a cone from a dawn redwood. The scientific name of a dawn redwood is Metasequoia glyptostroboides. It's in the family, or the subfamily I should say, Sequoioideae. And yeah, they have these really cool cones. Sometimes there should be some seeds in here, although this one's old, so they probably all fell out. But you can see that's what the cone looks like. It's really interesting, kind of unique looking. Not related to pines. Pines are in the family Pinaceae. They are both conifers, but they're not related, at least not super closely. And yeah, really cool. This Metasequoia glyptostroboides, the dawn redwood, is actually endangered in the wild, native to China. They would grow in swamps, and there was only like a few hundred trees, which a healthy tree population should be in the millions at least. A few hundred or even 1,000 is not very many, because that's probably what, a farm field or two worth of trees, like as far as kind of to quantify how much forest is actually left. From my understanding, they're very rare in the wild. And so yeah, it's really cool that people are growing these. These thrive in temperate climates and probably warm temperate climates as well. They grow here, well, they're commonly planted here, I should say, here in Michigan. And I'm really glad they are, because even though they're not native, they're not invasive like the ginkgo, and they're endangered. So by people growing them, it helps them become less endangered. And they're also just a really cool tree. They actually used to grow in North America a few million years ago, and then went extinct here, and then they only lived in China, which is now. But now, of course, they're being brought back, which is cool. And this is actually the only living member of its genus, Metasequoia, the only living species, which is pretty cool, of its genus. But unlike ginkgos, these have a lot of living relatives. These are related to the giant redwoods in California. These are kind of related to like cedar, what we call cedar trees. They're not actually cedars. It's actually a Thuja occidentalis. So these have a lot of living relatives, unlike ginkgo, but they're still really cool. They're still kind of a living fossil. They used to be very common many millions of years ago. I think they evolved about 150 million years ago. Ginkgos evolved roughly 270, roughly 300 million years ago-ish. So they're not as old as ginkgos, but they're still really cool. And they are endangered, and I do think people should grow them. And I do think they're really fascinating, beautiful, and amazing trees. And yeah, Metasequoia glyptostroboides, super cool.